Coach will make an opening statement, and then we'll go into questions. Just raise your hand. We have a mic on each side.
Good to see everybody. Had a good morning with the guys. Came in great energy, focus. Able to look at the film and find some ways that we got to continue to grow into to be the best team that we can be. Great that we're getting an opportunity to kick off conference play. It's finally here. Big week in front of us, big challenge. Have a ton of respect, obviously, for the program. Everybody that's involved over there, know a lot of them. But it's a football team that's playing really well. If you look at them defensively, doing a great job really in every category, applying pressure to the quarterback, sacks, turnovers, and being extremely good against the run. Offensively, got dynamic playmakers, young quarterback that's playing really good football, and they do a really good job on special teams. So huge test for us, opportunity for us to go on the road in a really good environment, and at the same time have an opportunity to put our brand in front of the entire country. Open it up.
Questions? Let's start with Mark here, and then we'll go to Ryan.
Well, let's go ahead and get to it.
What are you going to talk about?
Let's talk about Nebraska. You go back into Norman. Have you thought about the emotions when you walk into that stadium?
Yeah, it'll be unique. I had teammates and friends back there. They hit me up a little bit early. They were starting last week already. It'll be unique going back into that stadium. It's going to be a viewpoint. I'm not sure I've ever spent a day on the opposing sideline inside of that stadium, not even for a scrimmage. So it'll be different, but it's one that I'm really looking forward to. There's so many people that have been a huge part of my journey that I get a chance to go back and hopefully get a chance to say hi to a bunch of them. It starts with teammates. It's coaches that I had. It's a lot of coaches that I coached with. There's a lot of personnel that's still there. Guys that I coached, guy that was in my wedding. There's a lot of people back there that I'm familiar with and have a lot of respect for.
You mentioned him a second ago, but what impresses you about Jackson Arnold?
About Jackson? In general, he takes great care of the football. I think he's got great command and presence in what they're doing offensively. He has the ability to use his feet to make things right. That can be when the pocket breaks down, design quarterback run, read game. He's a really talented young player.
How comfortable are you with the Oklahoma questions this week? I know you like to focus so much on your team.
I thought I handled the first one really well. So I'm good with any question about Oklahoma. Like the opportunity that I got, from Bob and from Mike to come there and play, what we were able to build there in a short amount of time as a player. But then my coaching career from, the guys that I played for to all of the coaches that were there during my career, all made a huge impact on me, and I wouldn't be here today at Tennessee if I didn't have all of those experiences. So tremendously grateful for all those people, and Brent is somebody that I learned and grew from as a young coach so much, and a ton of respect for him.
A lot of game days there. Your players haven't. What should they expect in terms of atmosphere and crowd noise at Oklahoma?
Should be a great crowd. It's a passionate fan base. I'm expecting them to be extremely quiet for us out of respect to me and our program too. So.
Josh, when you have a young quarterback in Nico making his first SEC start and this type of environment, do you believe in talking to him about what he is going to experience, or do you kind of believe in out of sight, out of mind, and how do you feel like his personality will translate in this type of moment?
Yeah, I think his personality will translate extremely well. It wasn't a true road game, but being over in Charlotte and crowd being divided in half, I think is a part of preparing him, but our entire football for this too. The way we've prepared spring ball, training camp, our guys will be ready for this. it doesn't make the challenge any less difficult because of those things. You got to do ordinary things at a really high level, and you got to do them consistently in this, and that's communication. That's where it starts, in particular on the offensive side of the ball with crowd noise. But it's everybody, you know, all three phases of the game, alignment, assignment, and technique after that.
Rob and Ellie.
Coach, just how beneficial for you do you think it's been for you to play so many young guys, so many snaps these first 3 weeks, you know, maybe compared to previous years? How much of a luxury?
Yeah, certainly we've been able to play a lot more guys than we have at any point. A big part of that's our roster. The opportunity that every young player gets, they're only going to grow that much more quickly with those experiences on game day. You know, practice is awesome and it matters, but those game day experiences matter too, and you know, to understand what it looks like, what it feels like, and where you got to continue to grow. So it's been really important to us here in the first 3 weeks. The depth of our roster and the experiences that they have is really important as you get into conference play.
What do you anticipate to be the biggest obstacle your team will face coming up this week?
Yeah, I don't think there's just one. First of all, you know, I talked about their defense, their offense. They're well coached. They play extremely hard. They've been on the right side of the turnover margin. They got really good personnel. So this is a really good program.
You guys got an extended look at Peyton Lewis. What have you seen in terms of his progression? Is he someone that you would trust for meaningful snaps?
We do trust Peyton. Peyton's gotten better every single week, coming off of you know, the injury, getting the opportunity to grow on the field during training camp. He's gotten better every day, and he's gotten better every week during the course of the season. I love what he's doing as young.
Nico has said that he actually prefers road games to home games. How have you seen maybe that energy in him shift as they do get ready for their first road game?
I think you know, there's nothing better than being in front of your home crowd, but there is something special about knowing that you're going on the road, and the focus, the effort that it takes to go out there and be successful in those type of environments. That is something that is special, that competitors relish.
Yeah, Josh, you referenced with Mike Matthews being able to go to a 4-wide set.
Yeah.
Week before, a lot of 12 personnel. Is this just the depth showing up in more versatility offensively now at this point?
Yeah, depth in your personnel gives you the freedom, the luxury to do more things, and that can be within your scheme, but it's certainly within our personnel groupings too. You know, the first couple of years, we really primarily played 2 tight ends. You know, within the structure of what we do, that limits how much exposure you want those guys to have in 12 personnel. A year ago, we had, I think, 6 scholarship wide receivers, got guys banged up. You know, with our roster now, you have the ability to go into a 4-wide set and go play really good football in it.
Eric and Trey.
Josh, I think through 3 games, Oklahoma's had about 10 takeaways. What have you seen on tape that, you know, allows them to be so aggressive playing defense?
Yeah, 10 is the right number. Their front, really active. They play tight coverage on the back end with all the structure that they, you know, show you on the back end. They play really assignment sound. They understand where they're supposed to be in recognizing patterns and getting into windows. They tie all 3 phases, all 3 levels of the defense in extremely well. And then when you have the ball in their hands, they're extremely active, punching, ripping, putting their hat on the ball. You know, they've changed the way the game's played with a lot of those turnovers.
Hey, Josh, looking at the veteran leadership of this team, how have you graded them? I don't know if that's the right word or not. Over the first 3 games, being able to turn the page Saturday night into Sunday and get prepared for that next week, and especially, you know, this one, and I understand the game in Charlotte, but getting into SEC play as well. Have you seen any kind of difference out of your leaders and group?
We have really strong leadership. It's not just the veteran guys. You know, the guys that are on our councils do a great job, but we have a lot of strong individuals inside of our position rooms as well. I've said it, I think maybe training camp, this team was really good just in how consistent they were through spring ball in training camp. They've been that way during the course of the season. As a player, man, you better enjoy the win Saturday night and enjoy it on Sunday too. But Monday's, getting back to reality and understanding how you got to grow and understanding you're only as good as your next one as a competitor. And this group's been really mature that way. And certainly the opponent that we have this week will capture everybody's attention.
Coach, you talked about a different perspective this week for you being on the opposing sideline. Another different perspective, bringing your kids back to a place that means so much to you. Will the pregame throws on the field with your son mean a little bit more this week to just kind of show him a place that means so much to you?
Yeah, no pregame throws on the road. So not sure if my kids will be able to make it yet, but we're working on that.
Josh, it seems like you guys really like Jermod McCoy and Ricky Gibson a lot out there at corner. What have those two guys done, to establish themselves, and what sets them apart at this point?
Yeah, we like those two guys, but we like the guys right behind them too. Jalen and Jordan have done a really nice job as well. Those guys are playing really good football. They're playing with fundamentals and technique, but they're understanding, the contour of what they're seeing on the offensive side of the football. Being able to play with an anticipation of what they might see, playing really good football.
Coach, what's it like coaching against the guy that you worked alongside with and Coach Venables for a few years at Oklahoma?
Yeah, a guy that, again, I got so much respect for, got a great family, somebody that poured into me as a young coach and learned so much from him. He's as good as they come when you look at what he's done. Historically as a defensive coordinator, a lot of respect, huge challenge for us this week.
Josh, I'm guessing it's unusual that it's maybe 4 games into a season and you haven't had a lot of guys that have had to play 60 minutes yet in a game this season. Is that any kind of a concern at all, or are y'all able to kind of work through some of that conditioning stuff in practice to keep the levels where they want to be?
No, believe that what we're doing during the course of the week is preparing those guys to be ready to play for 60 minutes. This will be a 60-minute football game. You got to be physical at the line of scrimmage. You got to win one-on-ones out on the perimeter, and you got to play with an aggressive, competitive composure for 4 quarters in this football game.
Coach, obviously after last week you had some plans for what you could do with Holden and Miles in the run game and what they could mean to you. Did you envision them being this big of a part of a passing game?
Yeah, we got great trust in those guys. Nico's got a great trust with those guys that, the route patterns, they're going to see it the way he sees it. They're going to be able to settle in zones and win versus man-to-man. Those guys have all done a really nice job, really through spring ball, and certainly as they got more comfortable in what we're doing. And speaking specifically to the transfers, as we got into training camp, those guys took a big jump just being able to operate within our system as we got to training camp.
Knowing what it took for Deshaun Bishop to get on the field here at Tennessee, to see how he played this past week and take advantage of the opportunity, what was that like for you to see? And
another young guy that just continues to get better. He did a great job hitting the hole, making the third level miss when he got into space, got under his pads when he needed to. He's taken a step every single week as well. Our staff's got a lot of trust in him. That's a guy that we saw flashes last year, then, hurts his ankle in training camp and misses a majority of the season. It's been fun to see him just grow through that experience, become really mature, and, how he handles himself in the building and outside of the building.
Hey, Josh, first true road game of the season in helmet communication. How much is that going to be a factor this week in practice for you guys to work on, especially backup plans? We've seen across college football where sometimes it's a little bit too loud or sometimes the communication breaks down inside the helmet. Preparation for that this weekend.
Yeah, and your research, if you've got any solutions for the problems, talk to Hawk and his crew this afternoon, all right? No, I anticipate it's worked well up until this point, but we'll find out on Saturday. All right. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.